Fire escape engineers, inspector summary video. What we're looking at here is a fire escape here in Long Island City, and what we have is a fire escape here that has a few components. I apologize for the darkness, but it got dark pretty quickly here now. But basically what we're looking for is to load test the fire escape, or provide a, in lieu of a load test, guaranteed certified repairs that the fire escape is prepared for a load test so that it doesn't have to go through the costly load test. And what that means is you got a fire escape that's 50 to 75 years old, original to the building, and we have to identify all the things that either need a load test to verify that it's structurally sound, or we need to certify the repairs either through reinforcement or replacement of a bolt in order for it to be guaranteed and not need a load test. So let's talk about a couple things first. A lot of square head bolts. I'm looking for evidence of maintenance on the treads. I'm going to be looking for evidence of maintenance on supports. I'm going to be looking for this release arm to be active so that the weight box is properly balanced. So these are all things I'm going to be looking at. So any evidence of maintenance is hex head bolts, and I'm not finding. So it looks like this fire escape has just been painted, and that's been the only thing that this fire escape has been, that they've been doing, is painting this fire escape. So let's start in this corner. A lot of rust buildup right there. All that rust has got to be cleaned out and then rebolted. Fire escape is older than 1978, so any painting that has to be done on this must be with a licensed renovator. But I don't think painting is one of the issues on this fire escape. So rebolting is not going to need a renovator because you're not going to be disturbing too much of the lead. But I want 100% of these square head bolts cleaned out and rebolted. As soon as you start getting into the corners, rebolting. Reinforce or rebolt. Reinforce or rebolt this corner. Now, these riveted bars, you don't have to change these. If they're in good condition after a stress hammer test and they're not moving and there's no rust in them, all the bars can stay, but not the corners. The railing corners need to be done. When you're looking at these flat bars, same thing. You got to make sure that there's no rust happening on these flat bars, and they're running from this side to that side, but they're tying in. Yep, it looks like they're running from the back to the front. And I'm just looking to see if they're tied in anywhere, because it seems like the tie-ins are these long verticals that are running here. Okay, so now square heads, reinforce or load test. Reinforce or load test, and a lot of times it's cheaper to change out this bolt than it is to load test that, because the reinforcing, there's really no other place to put a bolt. So a lot of times just take out that square bolt and change it out. That automatically means you don't have to load test it. 100% of these treads still has original connections. Look how much the rust is getting in there. All right, it's too much rust eating these treads. Nobody's ever cleaned out these treads, and it's all original hardware. When you look underneath, you can see all the original rust climbing on those treads. So all these treads, 100%, usually in 50 to 75 years, 100% of all these treads has been swapped out. I'm sitting here on this fire escape. I can't find one tread that's been swapped out. So 100% of all these treads must be swapped out, cleaned, primed, and then rebolted. Otherwise you have to load test these treads. See these square head bolts tying in the top of the stringer? There's rust inside those. Rebolt, clean out the rust, rebolt these. Otherwise, load test is the only way to verify or guarantee the connection. These connections that hold the release arm, that release arm and that weight box right down there is unbalanced. This fire escape, with the photograph shows, we had to step on it. When we got here, the release arm was in the open position, out like it is now. It was actually out further, and it was not even activated. So this release arm not only stops people from breaking into your building, but when you release this cantilever, it's supposed to drop 2 to 3 feet per second, hit the ground, and stay down. Right now, it's not staying down. My guy down there has got to hold the cantilever down, otherwise he steps off it, it comes back up. So 100% of these treads need to be redone. Look at these gussets. Look at all the rust in that gusset. These gussets are all blown out. So you got to clean out all that rust and rebolt these. Otherwise, load testing, nobody will load test a gusset full of rust. Same thing that's happening out here. If you look at the gussets, these gussets, look at all that rust in that gusset. So you got to rebolt all the gussets. So 100% of all the brackets over here, the gussets are all blown out. You need to do those. Remove all the rust, rebolt. Get those rivets out of there and rebolt it. Not only is that a major issue problem right there, look at this over here, and it's better seen from the other side. The gussets on this thing that holds up all the pivot arm that holds all this weight up of this entire staircase, they're gone. When you look at aside from being original rivets and or square head bolts on all these, let's look on the other side. So again, 100% of all this fire escape needs to be, look at that, look at the gussets. All the gussets are blown out. And they've got 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 3/4 in some cases. All these are full of rust. Look at that gusset over there. You can actually see inside the gusset. Look how much rust is in it, and it's eating the steel. So again, 100% of that gusset right there is gone. And that's holding up this pivot. That's holding up the major staircase. And that goes right into the wall. Look at that gusset there. These gussets are full of rust. They've just been painting. Nobody's ever bothered cleaning out these gussets. So you need to verify these. Load test it, and nobody will load test it full of rust. Or you got to clean it out and rebolt it. That's the pivot right there. I apologize for this being dark, but it's, again, 100% of all the treads. You got nothing but rust in all the treads going up or down on this. And I'll show you a little bit more when we lift this up slightly, just how bad the treads are. See the big gaping holes from above? But now I'll let one of my inspectors lift this, let it go up a little bit. Bruno, let it go up and hold it up there. Let me just get underneath here. Look, original hardware. Look at all that rust. Nobody's bothering to clean out the rust. They're changing some bolts here and there, but you got to remove the rust. All original hardware. And this is typical. You know, they'll come in and change some bolts, but they won't take out the rust. Now, if you look up, you can start seeing rust in all the connections. We got photographs of that. Look at that. Rust in all the connections. Not only is it eating the stringer, it's eating the treads. So 100% of this staircase needs to be rebolted. All original hardware. So much so that it's pulling into the steel with so much rust. So you can see that there's no change of bolts on this fire escape. That weight box over there. That weight box, you got to take some weight out of there because she's not coming down by herself. If he lets go of the fire escape, and he will in a second, this thing just goes up back by itself. And it stays up in the air horizontal. But that release arm is not working. That release arm is what keeps it so that you can release it when you want to. So all those platforms up there are not good. I've got rust. So 75% of this fire escape must be refurbished prior to a load test. And then once we certify all the repairs, then there's no need for a load test. But again, that's still the decision of the city official, the fire inspector, whoever wrote the violation. This definitely is going to need engineer oversight. I believe this can be done with engineer oversight of at least 3 visits. The initial visit will be to meet with a vendor to make sure that the repairs are doing and going correctly. The second visit is going to be a mid-visit to make sure that the work being performed is being done as per the criteria. And then a final visit to verify that all the work has gotten done and that every joint has been sealed with silicone, 50-year silicone. Then the engineer of record, which is whether it's fire escape engineers or someone else, can then sign off on this. Otherwise, they will ask for a load test on this fire escape as a means of guaranteeing that the work is done correctly. So, this whole support structure down here, look how much rust is on there. Look at all the gussets. The gussets on the corner are blown out. The gussets over here have all been invaded with rust. So this is not a safe structure. A lot of the treads, a lot of issues. Any questions? Fire escape engineers, Inspector Meneses here. 800-649-3333. 800-649-3333. And Bruno's going to let it go right now, and it's going to show that it's not balanced correctly. It goes up by itself. And as you can see, the fire escape goes up by itself, does not come down and stay down. And even with the release arm right there, open, this fire escape is not properly balanced. Can't believe it does need to be balanced. Fire escape engineers, Inspector Training Video.